Now chances are you're watching this video because what's in this box is far cheaper than this brand's group set or any other gravel group set on the market. But is this any good? Let's find out. Gears, because it's only 11, there's no double chain ring. So we've got a whole group set in this one little box. And some very basic instructions came with it. As you can see, fairly no frills packaging, but at least they're individually packed in like a bubble wrap sort of plastic. It's all survived, I'd say. And then more packaging, so yeah, they're packaged fairly well. This is the left-hand lever, and it's a brake lever only. It has no gear changing mechanism inside the body. This is the right-hand lever, and it's both a brake and the 11-speed gear shifter. And note that both the brakes and the gear is cable pull. Brake calipers, cable pull, and branded nut, NUTT. They come with adapters, so you can use either 140 or 160mm rotors, and bolts for fitting to a frame flat mount. Rear derailleur. Now I have medium-sized hands, and if this derailleur looks big in video, you're right. It has that overbuilt look about it. And with its matte black paint and red accents, it almost looks like it's been built for military purposes. Bottom bracket, aluminium cups, plastic sheath, sealed bearings, and you order them in the size to fit your frame. Left-hand crank. Now this one has the axle attached to it because it's the size dub 29mm. Has that nice matte black finish to it, and it has the logo SRX. The cassette, nice looking. All the sprockets are silver except for the largest one, which is black, and all the sprockets are drilled, I suppose, to make it a bit lighter. And the last two sprockets are also silver and has a dark grey lock ring. Right hand crank, again packaged nicely. It's a dark matte grey to match the left hand crank, of course, and everything else. Very nice looking, very nice. Of course it has no axle because the axle is in the left hand crank, and you can also get the crankset with 24mm Shimano compatible. Surely there's not much left now. Rotors, 6-bolt, and the rotors are made by Avid, which is a company been making bike parts for quite a long time, so that's decent quality. The chain, 11-speed of course, nice and shiny, silver anodized, comes with a quick link. Chain packet, it's branded Ling Mei, but having a close look at the chain you can see YBN branded, and YBN been making chains for a long time as well. And this is what you get. It's a little bit more than most group sets come with, however it's not like the good old days. Remember when you used to get a headset and seat post and pedals and hubs and probably a few other bits and pieces. pretty much everything. Nowadays, of course, we've got special shape frames, so your headsets come separately and your hubs come with the wheels. Your seat post, of course, comes with the frame. What else is there? Pedals. Everyone wants to choose their own pedals and cleats and shoes. So basically, a group set today is gears and brakes. Looking at the weights of the components, the levers 429 grams a pair. The brake rotors 197 a pair, that's without the bolts, and the calipers 441. The rear derailleur 318 grams, and the cassette, which is an 1134, 527 grams. Chain 270 gram. The levers, they look good, no problem at all. They feel nice in the hand. Mind you, the best test is on the bike, of course. So the decals, they raised, quite thick paint on there, or whatever they put on there. I'd say it'll wear off over time, but might take a long time. So very nice. The lever hoods feel quite sticky, quite rubbery, quite nice. You do get an inner cable with that one, because that one you don't have any gear on that side. The mechanism is the same as SRAM, so it's click your brake lever for up and small click for down, and you can do 2 clicks, up, up, and down, down. Pull the lever hood back to reveal the band clamp bolt, and it's a 5mm Allen key just in here. Now you can route your gear cable in front of or behind your handlebars. Unlike the rest of the components, the lever paddles are gloss black. All up, the levers look very much like SRAM and are good looking. You can adjust the reach on the levers. At the front of the lever body is the 2mm adjust screw. So whether you've got small hands or short fingers, large hands or long fingers, or you just want to get the reach just right for yourself. Now personally, I found these levers very comfortable, just like the old SRAM lever shape. Now of course I haven't ridden this bike off-road yet, but on-road they're just fine. Also, not being hydraulic, they don't have that bulk head at the front of the lever. Even the lever hood is tighter on the body of the Sensah than the Shimano Ultegra. Gear changing is the right hand lever, and again is very much akin to SRAM operation. Push the entire lever inwards 1 click to change up 1 sprocket, or further inwards 2 clicks to move up 2 sprockets. Changing down is a small click inwards, or you can do it rapidly to change down faster. Some reviewers have said that the lever swing is too far to change gears, but this is a good thing, as it lessens accidental changing of gears while riding on rough terrain. This is a gravel group set after all. Also, moving the whole lever seems so simple compared to Shimano's separate gear paddle system. There's one downfall with this lever: you cannot brake and shift gears at the same time. The mechanism locks out. The brake calipers, now these are not hydraulic, they're cable pull. So a cable comes through here and pulls on it like that. Now these, the way they're constructed, very, very chunky. They look like they're made of cast iron, and guess what? They're almost the weight of cast iron. If I put one on the scale, 224 grams. That's very heavy. Just taking off this little rubber protector there, and you can see holding in the brake pads is a split pin. So not a bolt, a split pin. Nothing wrong with a split pin. They've been used for many years with success, holding things in place. But it would have been nice with a bolt, because that way you don't have to fuss around a split pin. You've got to bend the metal, pull it out, push back in, bend the metal. Whereas a bolt, you can just undo it if you need to replace your brake pads. And the adjuster barrel screw here, again, the thread has no grease. Again, so grease the thread if you're going to use these calipers. Everywhere I've read and watched say these NUTT nut brake calipers really have not very good performance. So I'll be swapping these out for some decent ones. In the meantime, it's not a total loss, because you do get adapters here, and to buy these adapters are about $16 or $17 each anyhow. So it's not a total loss. The crankset, it looks really nice. It's got that matte black finish to it. The aluminium cranks, and the chainring is aluminium as well. Turn them around and you can see they're drop forged, and they're hollow in the middle there at the back on both sides to save weight. The chainring has little laser etched lines in there, quite nice little zigzaggy lines. So they're quite modern and nice to look at. Got SRX written there and GR2. The bottom bracket axle is pressed in the factory to the left-hand crank. It fits into the right-hand crank with that octagonal fitting like that. And it has a preload adjuster here for your bearing adjustment. So when ordering your cranksets with the kit, the GR2 means it's a dub 28.99mm axle, and the GR3 is for the Shimano 24mm size. Then you'll need to choose the appropriate bottom bracket sizing, the crank length, and the number of teeth on the chain wheel that you want. And the total weight of the complete crankset is 697 grams. As you can see, these chainrings are splined to fit on the crank, just like sprockets are splined to fit on the free hub body. And no, you can't fit these chainrings on your free hub body. Held on by 3 bolts, you can remove the rings and replace them with different sizes. In fact, you can even get double rings to fit these cranks. On the 1-bys, you can choose between 30 to 44 teeth, and on the 2-by, you can go from 32.48 up to 39.53. And all the rings will fit both the dub and the 24mm crankset. For the rear derailleur, you can adjust the spring tension, which helps prevent the chain from slapping on the chainstay when you're riding on rocky terrain. The tension indicator is red, and the adjuster screw is underneath with a 3mm Allen key. Less tension or more tension. Now let's compare this SRX group set to Shimano's gravel group sets, the RX600, the RX810 and the Di2 version, the RX815. Firstly, the weights. The crank set 697 grams, that's about average. The lever set 429, that's the lightest out of all the groups. The rear derailleur 318 grams, well that's the heaviest out of all the groups. And the brake calipers 441, that's definitely the heaviest of all the groups. Now the total group set weights, the Sensah SRX is 1885, and that comes in between the RX600 and the RX8010 anyhow. Not bad with those heavy nut calipers. Now we're going to replace these nut branded calipers because first of all they're heavy and they're also not very good braking, and I'll bring that out in a test riding video to come. So we're going to replace them with these June Tech calipers. They weigh in a pair 315 grams, which is a savings of 126 grams. That now brings the total group set down to 1759. So now we've improved the braking and it's the lightest group set. And for the prices, these are in Australian dollars, $17.93 for the RX600, RX8010 is $18.39, the Di2 version is $2,659, and now for the clincher, the Sensah SRX Pro is only $425. And this is what makes it all worth considering. Even when you replace those nut calipers with the June Techs to come up to Shimano's braking standards, is still a bargain at $625. Now if you want to go even lighter with this SRX group set, you can buy carbon levers and a carbon rear derailleur. The normal SRX levers are 429 grams, the carbon ones are 398. You'll save yourself 31 grams. And the rear derailleur, the normal SRX 318 grams, the carbon 314. That's 4 grams difference. All up you'll save yourself a total of 35 grams. But is it worth paying the extra $389 for? The nut calipers are cable pull mechanical. The cable from your lever pulls an arm which presses the brake pads in. The June Techs are cable pull hydraulic, so the cable pulls an arm which pushes the plunger in like a bicycle pump, but instead of air it compresses oil which presses the brake pads in. A hydraulic caliper will give you better braking power, and the cable pull means you don't have to have a hydraulic system in the brake lever. Even though the June Techs will cost you an extra $200, it still makes the group set extremely good value for money. Hopefully Sensah will include the cable pull hydraulic calipers in their group sets in the near future. Now since lately everything seems to be going 12 speed, yes, Sensah do make a 12 speed SRX Pro group set. The brake calipers are different. The levers are different, the cassette's different, the rear derailleur's different, the chain's different, but what is the same is the crankset and the bottom bracket. The different options available, different size chainrings, different crank lengths, and the largest sprocket on the rear cassette. All the weights for this 12-speed group set are here, a little heavier than their 11-speed, but then the new Shimano 12-speed group set is also a little heavier than their 11-speed group set. The new 12-speed levers have G12 written on them. This 12-speed ratchet mechanism inside the lever is all metal. Shifting's the same, 1 or 2 clicks for upshift and multiple single clicks for downshift. Rear cassette with its extra 12th cog going right up to a 52 tooth. The cranks and the bottom bracket of course are the same as the 11-speed, and the axles available in the two sizes, the dub or the Shimano 24mm axle. And the new brake calipers are going mechanical hydraulic, good move, much stronger braking power. And the rotors themselves are going away from the 6-bolt system to the Shimano Sensah lock system. And of course a 12-speed chain to match. Now because you have one more sprocket on the 12-speed than the 11-speed, and it's the largest sprocket, then it's going to be heavier than the 11-speed cassette. And that makes the 12-speed group set a little heavier than the 11. If you ever break, damage or wear out any of your Sensah parts, they're all available separately on AliExpress. One of my favourites is you can buy the brake lever hoods, and they come in different colours. You can get different spiders for different chainrings, different size chainrings in different colours, and even oval shaped chainrings. How about a 1x front chain guide, a gear shift lever for straight bars, rotor lock rings in different colours, and the list goes on. Best part, they're all cheap. So as you can see, I put this group set on a Yoleo G21 frame set and used both road and a gravel wheel set to test it out. More on that Yoleo frame set and those wheels in the next couple of videos. Well, it's a nice quiet spot here, have a bit of a break, have a bit of a chat about how the Sensah group set is going so far. And I can tell you now, it's running absolutely perfect, except for one thing, and you guessed it, it's those nut calipers, the brakes. That's the only downfall with the group set. Anything else is fine. The gear change is faultless. Anybody who complains about the gears not changing properly, I would say they haven't got their cables quite right, or they're not using compressionless cables, something like that. Or check the rear hanger on their frame might not be aligned. That's about all. Other than that, I haven't had no qualms with it whatsoever. Absolutely faultless. So the cranks are lovely. The chain even goes nice and smooth. The spacing between the sprockets at the back is nice and even. It starts from 11, goes up to the 34. Nice spacing all the way between. Went up some fairly sandy, steep bits, and there was no problem there. I think I did it in second gear, second sprocket on the back, and that was fine. So no problem at all. I really can't fault it, like I said, except for the brakes. Changing gears, I didn't accidentally change gears at all, no problem there. Well, would I recommend the Sensah group set? Absolutely. Even when you have to replace the calipers with a better quality one, the mechanical hydraulic, spend another $200, no qualms whatsoever. It's still an excellent value for money group set.